Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer, welcome back to Project Cars 2, and welcome back to Rouen in France. We did another GT3 race. Let me get the race going, and I'll tell you what's going on. So, like always, I got to thinking. And the two things I was thinking about was, it's really hard for me to talk when I'm racing sometimes. And I know that view gets kind of monotonous, just looking out through the windscreen. So I've seen other YouTubers do this, and I thought I would do the same thing, and they talk over a replay of the race. So I'm going to try the same thing and see how it goes. And I know some of them actually call the race, right? Like, and some of them are really good too. All right, just made up like 5 spots there. Some of them are really good, absolutely restaurant quality, and others, not so much. So I don't know how I'm gonna land on that scale, but figured I'd give it a try. Plus I'm getting sick, and I'm just, I don't know. It's kind of an off day. But mostly it's the long pauses when I'm racing. You know, I'm thinking of something, I'm saying something, and then all of a sudden it's like I need to do something in the car, and I just stop talking. And I know that that's not too cool. Mostly I wanted to do this race. So the very first race that I posted on YouTube was Project Cars, and it was a BMW M6 GT3. And today we went with the AMG SLS GT3, but still a GT3 car. And at Rouen, I don't know. I like this track a lot. It's too old. It's dangerous. It's closed now. They don't race on it anymore. But it was half circuit, half public roads. Too dangerous. And out in the woods, no run out, hillsides on both sides, and embankments, and just terribly dangerous. Pave, bumpy as hell, but it's a lot of fun to drive on. I think there's actually some pave coming up here. Yeah, you go from nope, pit straight. I'll try to point it out if I remember. But yeah, there's pave. There's just bumps everywhere. It's off camber. It's really, really kind of a nightmare of a course, but. We're sim racing. There's no danger, so I think we can appreciate these a lot more. I did a couple races at Imola, sim races at Imola, and just got to thinking about it in Senna, and did some reading on the accident, on the crash, and even just how the cars used to be built. It was 24 years ago this spring, and the difference in the way the cars were built then, not just the safety aspect of it, but actually how the cars were built, what they were built of, and how much more dangerous racing used to be, and how it seems like about every 20 years racing gets safer. And some of the F1 deaths in the late 60s and early 70s, and then losing Ratzenberger and Senna on the same weekend. And then a couple deaths in Indy a few years back, and just how there's we push for safety, and I don't know, it's crazy to think that they used to race on a track this dangerous. But yeah, I love it, and I guess I love it because it's just sim racing. There is no danger. That little pave section is coming up here, and it's a flat out straight into a 90-degree turn over cobbles. How player is that going to be? So we started in 26th, and it's lap 2, and we just passed for 17th. So yeah, I think it's different. I think it's different. I don't know if it's better. God, this right here, this is crazy coming off the pit straight. you just launch the car, either fifth gear or sixth gear, depending on your tires. You just launch the car off into space and kind of throw it to the right. And then down at the bottom of that next little chute, you do the same thing to the left, and then again to the right, and then right here again to the left. And it's all downhill. The grip is going away, and of course it's inward first gear hairpins. But how awesome! Man, I really do love racing. I don't know when or where or why it hit me the way it did, but since I'm tiny, since I'm like 3 or 4 years old, I've just loved racing. And maybe it's that way for a lot of people, but then at some point they sort of grow out of it. But the way my life has been, I didn't really have to grow out of anything. Yeah, man. Now the other nice thing about this is we can edit this together. We can cut this together. But I don't know how I feel about that, because most of my videos are, I don't know, 45 to 60 minutes long. Some of the truck videos are a little bit less. But I kind of like the idea of the whole race. Some of these passes don't suck. I don't know, when I review a race afterwards, it's always nice to see myself making some actual racing moves and holding an appropriate line and braking and turn in and accelerating out. Everything is textbook. And it's nice to see that. Because these games, they are so accurate and they're really, really effing hard. But I love them. I thought about that M6 again. Thought about running that M6 GT3, but ultimately went with this SLS. And we're going to do, I did find Rouen for Essarts Corsa. God, the car is just really pushing through there, so sideways. I found Rouen for Essarts Corsa as well, and this car is in Essarts Corsa as well. With the Fonseca sound pack, so it sounds amazing. But I'm going to do, what I've been doing is one race in Project Cars and then the same race in Essarts Corsa. So I'll probably do that. Now what's crazy is Essarts Corsa is, I feel like this version of the track, it's like half vintage. It's not quite contemporary, like there's some signage and some things that just don't quite look modern day. But it's also not old school. Like the vehicles are not old school. Or maybe they are. I just saw a fire truck back there that looked pretty old school. But you see what I'm getting at. It's not strictly vintage. And I feel like the one for Essarts Corsa is strictly vintage. Trying to get up on this 911. Lap 4, we're up to 14th. I like racing with the realism as high as I can get it. And with the AI, this is a really tricky one for me because I don't like races that I'm guaranteed to win. I also don't like just suffering. I like it somewhere in between. And I think, you know, the AI is adjustable for exactly that reason. I'm sure I'm not the only person that feels that way. I want to race. I want to race against other cars that are approximately my skill level. But my skill level is different all the time. It goes up and down. You know, like I'm sick right now. I feel awful. I'm on NyQuil. I'm not at my best today. There's an old V-dub. Okay, maybe this is vintage. So some old cars back there. So I am pretty active with the AI and try to dial it for how I'm feeling. And the other thing that's tricky is depending on what car you pick, it's a little bit like playing Madden and going with the Patriots, or the 74 Steelers every time. Yeah, of course you do well, but can you win with Tampa Bay? So all these GT3 cars are fairly similar. I mean, they're representing cars that were built to be competitive with one another, so of course they're similar, but it's still, I feel like there are cars that are hotter than others. I know they all drive differently. And it's tricky, to get that good race. But for me, mostly the thing is just a little 3 wide right there. For me, mostly the thing is to be as perfect as possible every lap. And turning the damage on, I think, keeps me really honest, because you just can't do dumb things and expect that it won't bite you. Tuck back in there. I can feel some slipstream, I can feel some drafting, but not always as strong as I feel like I should. I've gotten a pretty solid toe a couple times. That 911 wants it. I've gotten a pretty solid toe a couple times, but I wonder about it. And that's also adjustable. You can adjust the slipstream effect. Oh wait, that's the NyQuil kicking in. Can you adjust it in Project Cars or just in Assetto Corsa? I want to say you can turn it on and off in Project Cars, but I know in Assetto Corsa there's a slider for how much draft and slipstream you want. I've seen some YouTubers, and between the quality of their render and the quality of their racing and the quality of their commentary, if I take my glasses off, I feel like I'm watching coverage of a race. And that's pretty impressive to me. I'm not feeling that right now, but it could be because I drove this race and I know the ending. But I don't know if this has that sort of compelling quality that I'm after. It's getting a little pixelated at various places too. Like, it looks good right there. It's good right there. Pretty good right there. No, that 911 was pretty 8-bit. I don't know. Like, you can see all that shimmering on the grill and the chrome. I don't know how to feel about that. Frame rate is good. We're at 50-ish, 50 to 60. So that works for me. And we're capturing at 60 FPS, so that works for me. No. It does, for me right now, it doesn't have a real racing feel. It's strange to see, and this is, from my experience, this is pretty accurate as well. I worked in motorsport for a while, and when you see motorsport on TV, when you see a video, you really don't get a good sense of how violent it is and how much the cars are bouncing around and sliding and almost out of control pretty much at every second of the race. Like, other than possibly endurance racing, they tend to be a little more conservative, a lot more strategy. But for the most part, in racing, if you are not driving the car just to the point of losing control, the person behind you will, and then they'll pass you. So you always need to be just about ready to crash. And you get a very real sense of that when you see racing live. You can see the cars just bouncing and sliding, and you can hear them sliding, you can hear the tires. And there have been a couple times in this replay where you could see the car squatting down to the outside and really pushing to the outside of a high-speed kind of sweeping turn, but I don't know. And you may feel differently about it, but I feel like this needs some more work. I guess one thing I could do is just go faster, right? Like right here. Check this out. We come off the pit straight, and we're just going to throw it down to the right. And then same thing down here for this left. And then again for the right. Yeah, that one I feel like you can sort of see the car kind of hunched down on the outside. Lap 8, we're up to P9. We've got 7 laps to go. Surprised my voice has made it this long. We're about 16 minutes in, but my voice is just about to go. As soon as we're done here, I need to do a truck vid, and then that'll be my day, at least the video part of my day done. I set the weather to start in fog. I didn't do real weather, I think because it was raining, but I set the race to start in fog and then go to heavy clouds and then light clouds and then clear. And that's I always find that to be kind of a nice setup. It makes me think of like an 11 a.m. start and the fog burning off. It's not bad. You know, it's strange for me to think that some of the YouTubers that I follow, when they call their own races, they are really like they're yelling, they're really into it, and they, you know, if there's a crash or something, they start screaming and not screaming like they're scared, but like a sportscaster, right? Like somebody calling a horse race or football. And it really adds a lot of excitement to it. I don't know if I could ever get there. I feel like I'm too self-conscious to do that. And also, I'm not a yelling kind of person. I don't really get loud ever. But I still, when I hear that, it makes me think of, that was a handy little pass on the inside. Overcooked it, but got the pass done. But it does make me think how much excitement a good broadcaster brings to coverage of sport. You know, the other thing that's crazy about this track is as many laps as I've driven on it, it's got to be hundreds of laps. There are still times when I'm coming around where I think, you know, I might stay 1 gear higher for this turn. And sure enough, it sticks, and it's like, okay, that's my new gear for this turn. And, you know, the first time I drove it, there were turns, you know, second gear, third gear, and now it's like fourth all the time. There were fourth and fifth gear turns, and then it was always fifth, and then it was fifth, sometimes sixth, and then it's sixth, and then it's flat out. You know, keep your foot down. Keep the downforce up, and you can just carve it flat out. And you know, your first couple laps around, you would never, or at least I would never think that you know, some of these, I don't know, tighter than a sweeper. Oh, look at the AI just freaking out. Oh. I feel like you don't compete against the AI, you just survive it. Oh, this is nice. A little side by side. So I actually did this race twice. I did it once on hards with the ground force, the downforce up. say that again. Once on hard tires, hard slicks with the downforce turned up, and I did all right, but I saw zero wear on my tires. So I set it up again on soft slicks and bumped the downforce down and had a much better race. Felt like I wasn't fighting the car, it wasn't sliding nearly as much. And I was concerned, in the whole reason I would go to slicks is so I can decrease the downforce so the car is faster, because there's so many long straights. But the problem with that is long straights with sweepers at the end, less downforce, softer tires. Whoa, it's a little lapse in concentration. Softer tires, less downforce, the car's going to slide more and tear the tires up. And it's one of those things where soft is going to wear faster than hard anyway. But if you get the setup wrong and the car is sliding excessively, it's going to tear the softs up way too fast. So the setup is so critical in this game, and I feel like I'm racing these games now as prep for Formula One. Because Formula One has got to be the most... I've never played a sim where setup is as critical as F1 2017, and the amount of detail, I'm not even close to saying this right. On a lot of these race games, your lap times are going to be all over the place. Well, for a casual player, I guess, your lap times are all over the place. For a serious sim racer, it's almost like just a given that your lap times are all going to be within about a quarter of a second of each other. And then it's like, okay, what can we do in setup to add a little more speed to the car, a little more grip, right? What can we do to take a quarter second off a lap? But I feel like if you're, what are we running here, like 202, 203? 202.2. Yeah, I won't go back through all of them. But let's say, we're running 2022, 2020, 2025, 2022. We're fairly steady at 202, and now we can make changes to the car. If you're running like a 202 and then a 206, and then a 201, and then a 207, and then a 202, you're not running 202s. You may make changes to the car to get it fast, but you're making like broad changes, I guess, to get it down to the best lap time that you can run with that setup, and then you make the little changes. And I feel like these games are the physics are so good, and the track modeling and everything is so good. I mean, there are tracks that I run where I know stay to the left here, stay to the right there to avoid a specific bump that upsets the car. Just crazy amounts of detail. And what's weird about that for me is the setup matters so much at that point. To try to take another quarter second off, maybe take a little bit more fuel out, and run a softer tire, or run more downforce, whatever. And here it's meaningful, but Formula One 2017, it's like it's critical. You can't be competitive without it unless you absolutely potato the AI. And that, to me, that's not really fun. But so far in every race that I've been in, the AI just drove away from me. Now I'm getting better, and I can only finish 15 or 20 seconds off the pace, and that's for a half length race. I finished 15 or 20 seconds off, well, it was 20 entries, so I finished 20 seconds off 19. And it'll get there. It's gotten a lot better. But I feel like, so far in F1 2017, I started the season a couple times, and then I realized, no, not ready for a season, not ready for career mode. So I'm just doing single Grand Prix now. And I have yet to pass a car under the green flag. I've passed on pit stops, but not been able to hold those positions. And I'm not driving badly. I mean, I'm consistent lap to lap. I'm just not fast enough. I need to find ways to squeeze more time out of the car. Going for second. Not going for second. Going for second. Z4 says no. This is a little more compelling. This is looking better, I think. This looks more like real racing. Not real racing, but you know what I mean. You know, like we're obviously dicing right now. These three cars. Oh, God. Marshals didn't see that. So, that's Z4, Mercedes AMG, and then we've got the SLS AMG. Am I saying that right? There's two AMG, almost identical. I believe one is the. Let me say this. There's two SLS that are the same. One is AMG, one is not. I believe I am in the AMG, and the other one is just the Mercedes SLS. Did I say that right? Yeah, because that's got the AMG. The one that I'm driving has the AMG bodywork and grille, and the one up front has the Mercedes. Oh, Z4 wants it. $13. All right. 3 wide. Bumping. Robin's racing. I'm also not good enough for a league yet, but I feel like I could be, and I would really like to try to get into an online race league, e-racing, something. I mean, I'm told whether it's Assetto Corsa or Project Cars or iRacing or Race Room or whatever, you get the sim. Oh. Side by side, God, side by side with no wing. That's. All right. So you get the sim, and then you just start going to lobbies and racing, and you'll figure out fairly quickly how good you are, sort of where you belong, and also, really no other way to say this, but sort of where you're welcome. And I know there are sliders, like when you set up your own lobby, there are sliders for damage, like how much damage do you cause other cars? I think I'm saying that right. When you race, and if you set it to a certain number, people that bump a lot can't come into your lobby, can't come into your race. So you need to be, I guess, a good enough racer that you're not going to, ruin everybody else's good time. And there are, I guess, a lot of restrictions. You have to shift manually. Damage is on, tire wear is on, just all the regular settings. They're all the settings that I tend to crank up anyway, so it works for me. But yeah, I think I need to just take the plunge at some point. I think I could do all right. And I don't want to sandbag and only race when I know I can win. I want to compete, but see how it goes. Right. Lap 14. All right. side by side. So lap 15 now. Okay, final lap. I was surprised that the soft compound tire lasted as well as it did. 15 laps of me really kind of throwing the car around more than I wanted to a lot of times. It always feels like such a greasy place to pass. I feel like the AI can't really figure out that first gear turn, that hairpin. It just, I don't know. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take the pass. It just feels, as much as I hate the AI in these games, I still feel like I'm taking advantage of the AI through there. I mean, I don't feel that bad. I'm not staying up at night or anything. This is always the worst time for me. First place, you got half a lap to go. And I get so worried that I'll screw up that sometimes I do. Right? Like I get so gripped about not screwing up that I totally screw up. That's awesome. Right on. I think that's it. I think that's us done. Sure is. Right on. Folks, thanks for stopping back to check out The Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Project Cars 2. And we'll see you next time. Take care now.